All right, so it is a Saturday in Louisville, Kentucky. I am, and here I got to turn up the car air conditioner because, truth be told, I'm sitting in the car. Hopefully it won't be too loud. I am playing shuttle service for someone and have a little bit of time to kill. And I thought I would get on live, hoping others will see this. I could have just recorded this as a video, but I thought, no. I want to do this live, and I see people in the parking lot, so I'm checking them out. Okay, yeah, they seem good. They're probably wondering why I'm talking to a phone. But anyways, I want to talk about one of my sales heroes and people that I used to work with years ago at the Kimco Corporation are going to be shocked, or maybe they won't be, that I'm calling this guy a sales hero. This was the gentleman, and I use that term very loosely, who hired me into that job back in 1991. Yes, I'm talking about the one, the only, the immortal Duane Usa. Now, his name is Duane, D-U-A-N-E, Usa. That's U-S-A. Duane Usa. So, Duane was tall. I'm going to give you a quick physical description. He was tall. He was slender. He was blonde. Had a giant nose. And he had this laugh. And I'm going to try to mimic it for you. His laugh was something like this. Maybe a little deep. Oh, that hurt. Maybe a little deeper. See, I can't even do it right. So, but he sounded like a wounded grandfather, seal or walrus, when he laughed. It was unbelievable. But here's the thing. The customers loved him. It was, yes, Horseshack. It was amazing. So let me tell you, I'm going to give you 5 points about Duane. Point 1, the interview. When I interviewed to join the organization, it was to be a telemarketer, because why? Well, it's 1991. And he asked me, he goes, "You've had a number of jobs." And I said, "Well, yeah, but I had a good reason for leaving each one of them." And he leaned in and he goes, "Tell me, what was your good reason for having so many jobs?" Oh, I liked Duane in that fashion. He made me think. You know why? He was not afraid to ask the hard questions. And he not only did it of his staff, but he did it of the prospect and the customer. He would slice through, cut through the BS when he wasn't espousing BS, but he would cut through the BS to get commitments from people. So Duane was not afraid to ask the hard questions. The next thing is balancing your day. So Duane took people to breakfast, took people to coffee, took them to lunch. He would not work on proposals until 5 o'clock at night, when of course we all wanted to leave. But Duane was like, no, these are the hours that you call on the customer, or the customer to be, during the day, or you take them out at night. 5 o'clock is when we sit and fight about price with operations. 5 o'clock is when we tweak proposals. 5 o'clock is when we do all that busy work. Now, I am somewhat ashamed to say that I do not live exactly like that. I've gotten more and more like that, where I now balance my days, busy work days, phone call days, interaction days, etc. But looking back on how Duane did things, even in the way in which we live and sell now, there's a certain intelligence and insight to that you contact people during the workday, and then when everyone's leaving, that's when you do the busy work. So he knew how to balance his days. The next thing Duane did, and yes, I have a list here. I'm not trying to pull one over on you. Trade shows. I remember working trade shows with Duane, and I'd be talking to someone, and this was probably 10 years into my career with this organization. So, I knew a little bit what I was doing, not, as much as I know now, and not as much as I'll know in 10 years from now. But, and I'd be talking to someone, and Duane would literally, I'd be talking to someone, and then all of a sudden I would see the back of his suit. Why? Because he would stand right in front of me and start talking to the person. Now, that was kind of crass, but Duane took control of the situation. Every single person that came into our booth was his lead. It was his lead. He would fight that it was his lead, and then he would decide who got them. I talked to that person. I talked to that person. And the worst part was he did. He talked to everybody. He could carry on a conversation with anyone because he asked them questions. He asked them questions. He didn't talk about himself. He asked them questions. So he was merciless in making sure he got the information that we needed. And then there was entertaining. Duane was the most extravagant entertainer. And I can gladly say that I did learn that from him because I've hosted some incredible dinners over the years. But Duane would take large groups of people out. He made sure everyone's glass was always, always full. Appetizers, meal, desserts, after dinner drinks, specialty locations that were destinations. Duane was the master of entertainment and never talked about business. Ever, ever, ever. When we took people out, never talked about business, period. And then there was finally what Duane was a master of. When people would ask him questions, was he was a master of telling stories. Oh my word. You would think this man had traveled to every country in the world. Turkey, Istanbul's in Turkey. Turkey, Greece, Asia, Australia. Every time he went on vacation, he was going out of country. He never went to Orlando, okay? He never had a staycation. It was always somewhere exotic. And he would come back with photos of the most, photos, not on your phone, but photos, like you used to get at Walgreens. Photos, showing them to people. Some people said that he had found these photos somewhere and then had them printed, but that's a whole nother story. But Duane could tell a story and enrapture people. When Duane retired, they hired 2 people to replace him. 2 people, one to do all the traveling and one to take care of the Chicagoland area. I'll talk about each of those people another day. But took 2 people to replace Duane. And at his retirement party, when there was still such a thing, we all got up, and none of us were excited to do this, but we did it nonetheless, because he was the guy, again, that we loved to hate. Loved him, hated him, loved him, hated him, for all the reasons I told you and more, and talked about what we learned from Duane. And so now, Duane Usa, if you are out there in North Carolina, I've looked for you on Facebook, I don't see you. I'm going to need to Google you to see if you're even still alive. But Duane, I want to say thank you for inviting me, choosing me back in 1991 over 2 other individuals that had far more experience, but he knew I was hungrier than they were. You remember things. And inviting me into the building service contractor industry. And for all the baloney that you put me through over the years that made me a stronger person, a stronger sales manager. I don't know. I want to say salesman, but are we salesmen anymore? I guess we are business development executives. Whatever. Made me stronger in sales. You showed me what to do, what not to do, but what the foundations were. That even today, as we have gone virtual, as we have all this different technology, as things have changed, you laid the foundation in many of us in sales. So thank you, Duane Usa. I remember your laugh. It was never faked. It was always serious, as in real. And when you were done laughing, sometimes you would turn to us and go, okay, now what are we doing? You were the man. So thank you, Duane. That's what I've got for you. I've got to pick someone up in 6 minutes. I'm not Uber, but I am helping a relative get somewhere and get back. So God bless. Have a wonderful weekend. And think about who are the people who are those unexpected heroes in your life that have taught you something. Never, ever, ever did I think that I would have put out a video that is a soliloquy to the wonders of Duane Usa.